As of 3:02 p.m. Central Time on Friday, I clocked out at my job for the last time and became a full-time YouTuber. To celebrate that, I wanted to do a series of Q&A videos. So I asked you guys for questions. You asked over 500 questions. I tried to answer as many of them as possible, and to do that, I did 3 different videos answering your questions. The first one was on my main channel where I answered questions about movies, answered about 20 questions over there. Then I did a video where on my channel, Real Creators, my third channel, where I answered questions specifically about YouTube, answered about 20 questions over there. And then I'm doing this video. This is actually the third one. I'm shooting all 3 of these in a row, so if I'm itching my nose a lot or my nose is turning red as I'm talking, it's because I've been talking for an hour straight shooting those other 2 videos as I get to this one. But in this video, I'm going to answer about 20 of your questions about me personally, my family, some of that fun stuff that so you can get to know me a little bit better. But thank you guys so much for making this happen. Getting me, my channel, all this to the point in time where I could go full time. That's because of you wonderful people watching, liking, subscribing, all of that fun stuff. It really does mean the world to me. And let's get to answering your questions. First question we have is from Viber O, and it says, if you were an actor, what kind of movies would you want to be known for acting in? If I were to be an actor, I would want to be an action star. Ever since I watched the documentary The Matrix Revisited, which was basically just a very super duper The Matrix behind the scenes featurette, I went, oh, that would be so cool. Learn martial arts, learn to shoot guns, be hooked up on wires, train lifting weights to get ready to do a movie. That's what I'd want to do. Be an action star, be in one of these Marvel movies or something like that. That just seems like that would be so much fun. So that's definitely what I would want to do. Just Eero here says, what's your favorite comic book story arc? Comic book story arc? So I love Batman and I love origin stories. So I go with Batman Year One, the Frank Miller one. I just love the simplicity of it, getting to see the early Batman trying things out for the first time. I love origin stories. Seeing stories of becoming just work for me. And so Batman Year One easily is the one that I kind of go back to the most. Also, of course, The Dark Knight Returns. I've read Watchmen many times. The Long Halloween. Those are some of the ones I've gone to many times. Ops. Would you ever start a gaming channel? And I'll actually do this one with the next one as well. Ryan Clark, are you into gamings? What types of games? Would I ever start a gaming channel? Probably not. Very unlikely because I'm not a big enough gamer. It's not that I don't play games. Of course I play video games. I enjoy video games. I've always enjoyed video games. But I'm not a gamer. To be able to have a channel, like the way that I'm passionate about this is because I have a passion for movies and want to know the behind the scenes of how they're made and everything coming out. And I enjoy all movies. Even though I don't like a movie, I enjoy the idea of movies. So I can watch bad movies and I'm okay with that and talk about them. And it's not like draining or anything like that because I love movies. I'm not like that with games. I don't have that level of passion to just go so all in. And I'm not good enough at them. So I don't think I'd ever have a gaming channel. This year, I plan to review more games than I've done in the history of my channel. So I'm going to ask some people and try and figure out what new release games are coming out this year that people would like me to try out. And so then I'll try and do 3 or 4 video game reviews every couple months, do a video game review just to try and get my foot in the water, experiment with it just a little bit. And also I enjoy games. And so that could be fun. But that's kind of what my experience with gaming is. I have a PlayStation 4 and a Switch I got for Christmas. So I've been playing a whole lot of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with my son and trying to unlock all the characters. What games are some of my favorites of all time? Classics. Doom 2. Warcraft 2 was huge for me when I was in high school. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first one, massive for me. And then Batman Arkham City. Some ones that come to mind. Solomon Mott, how long have you been a Christian? And can you talk a bit about how you became a Christian? All right, so if you don't know this, I used to be a pastor. I was a pastor for about 7-8 years. I'll link up here on this channel right here. I link to some of my talks. Even if you're not a churchy person, religious person, if you click on these links right here, just kind of see me speaking live. It's not churchy. It won't be off-putting if that's something that you wouldn't be into. So just seeing my kind of storytelling. And then if you are churchy, there's some links to the full talks as well. So I've grown up going to church. My mother was a believer, so she always took us to church, and my dad was not a believer, so it was a little bit of an interesting, contentious household because of their differing belief systems and moral codes. But always grew up going to church, and the point in time where it became kind of personal to me and wasn't just my mom dragging me to church was between 7th and 8th grade years. We did backyard Bible clubs, kind of like VBS, Vacation Bible School, except out in the communities at houses. And I was one of the kids teaching it. And so I'm teaching this stuff, and I was like, do I believe this? Do I really believe this? Do I care about this? And I was like, yeah, I do. This is true for me. This is not just the thing that my mom's told me to believe. This is my faith. I'm going to make this my own. And so it's between that 7th and 8th grade years is when I really made my faith my own. And then another big point in time was after my dad died when I was 20, kind of had that low moment. I was like, do I really believe this? Is this true? And then, I leaned into it hard afterwards, started reading a lot more. And that was another big faith moment for me and kind of what led me to going into ministry for a while there. But yeah, check out right up here to see a little bit of me teaching and see a different side of me. I wish I could do more live stuff. I really enjoy that kind of thing. All right, Connor Diaz, super excited. My question is this: as a kid, what was your absolute dream job? So for me, every guy might want to be a marine biologist or an archaeologist. We all wanted to be archaeologists because we'd seen Indiana Jones and we didn't understand what an archaeologist actually did. So that was my dream job, to be Indiana Jones. For a while, I wanted to be a stuntman. Just the idea of, once again, big explosions, rolling, falling, all that stuff sounded amazing to me. Being a screenwriter has been interesting to me. Like, I'm almost more interested in screenwriting than directing. The idea of coming up with a story, putting the pieces together, more than the technical side of actually having to film all of it, in certain ways is more interesting to me. Like, I think in certain ways, the being on set filming is not a ton of fun for me. I've done an enormous number of video projects, scripted ones. I've basically made several different 50-minute movies in a certain sense. And filming on set I haven't worked with professional actors. I've worked with like total non-professional teenagers, like rattling or trying to wrangle in cats was not very exciting. So the writing process, so that was kind of interesting to me as well. Nico Barboza, where do you get the art in your background? Once again, down below in the comment section, I'll have a link. Actually, I was mentioning something from one of the other videos. I've been filming too long. This file right here I'm filming is at 1 hour and 5 minutes. That's exactly how long I've been talking at this camera answering questions. But so down below, I'll have a link. It'll be like kit.com movie posters. It'll be a link to where you can see all of my movie posters, or not all my movie posters, but the ones that I got off of Amazon. I got a lot of them on Amazon. Some of them aren't available anymore. Pause, not available anymore. Like this Leap poster right here. I got that at the movie theater. This one right here, I got this off of Amazon. I don't think it's available on there anymore. I got this guy right here on Amazon. Don't know if it's available anymore. Got a lot of them at Hobby Lobby, but I got them at a bunch of different places. The ones that are still available or available on Amazon right now, I'm losing it. The ones that are available on Amazon.com are at that link down below, at least the ones that I could find. Luke Skywalker. Wow, Luke Skywalker's in here. Since you're a Christian who even worked at a church, how do you decide what movies are just too bad to watch as a Christian? It's tough, especially now that I review them, because it's kind of what I do now. It's my job is to talk about and review movies. If there's just like an overt amount of just sexual, I'm just not going to watch it. So there was never a chance I was going to watch the 50 Shades of Grey movies. Those probably would have been pretty good, done pretty well for me, because I would have just trashed them and bashed them and were real funny. But I'm just not going to do that. Like, I have now that I'm full-time, I've had a lot of thoughts. Should I watch Game of Thrones? Because there's demand. There's a lot of people that want me to do it. But you watch the first episode and there's rape, molestation, incest, midget sex, prostitution, people being murdered, an attempt at killing a child. And you just go, is this the best direction to go? The whole first set of episodes has large amounts of spousal rape. And so people are, don't be prudish. Like, am I being prudish to say that I don't want to watch rape? Like, is that really prudish? Like that? I don't think that's prudish. I think that maybe we've been a little bit desensitized in our entertainment and things like that. But it's tough to know exactly where to draw the line and think what's healthy for you in your mind, in your thinking. How does it affect you? Where does it put your thoughts? I'd think about things kind of like that. The Soccer Master. Did you get bullied in school? If so, how and how long? I had a couple little bullying incidents. My neighbor was a lot bigger than me, and I don't know what was going on. Points in time we were friends, and at points in time bullying stuff. So he'd get off the bus and then he'd be like, "Hey man, wanted to tell you something. I'm mad." And he'd start swinging at me. Like stuff like that was like, what just happened? Like, I don't even know why he's mad at me. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know what changed. So I had some stuff like that. The biggest one was when I was in the 7th grade, there were these two guys that just decided to decide that I was their target. And so then they started tripping me, picking on me, unzipping my backpack, and just doing all sorts of little bullying things, pushing me around. And I started to just get tired of it at one point in time. And so they pushed me and I'd push them back. And they weren't bigger than me. There were two of them, but they weren't bigger than me. And so as long as whichever one got hit first didn't want to keep pushing me. And so as soon as I started fighting back, they stopped screwing around with me. But those are really the only big, significant bullying type things that I faced. Masterman, Sean, you said that you started the channel because you talked movies too much around people. Do you just not talk about movies with others anymore? Oh, no, it's the opposite. It's the opposite entirely. Everyone I know now talks to me about movies. They didn't for a while. Like when I first started the channel, people didn't talk to me about movies, and that's why I wasn't bringing up movies with them because I was talking movies on here. But then when it was like I was internet famous for it, when I started getting traction, in the scheme of things, I'm kind of internet famous, at least in my corner of the internet. And people were like, "Oh, wow, you got a lot of subscribers." Suddenly, everyone wanted to talk about movies with me. And they went, "What have you seen this? What did you think about this?" "Oh, finally I saw this." And they text me. And more people from real life that realize that this is my job now. They just kind of text me all the time about movies and things like that. So it changed because I became the expert. I wasn't just the annoying guy talking about movies. I was the expert that's seen everything and suddenly had weight behind all these opinions that I've always had. So it went down and then it went way, way, way up in the air. What do we got next? Greedo, what is your least favorite part of being a YouTuber? It's the people. So the other favorite part, getting to watch movies and make money doing it. That's cool. Being respected as a movie reviewer enough to get invited to press screenings. That's pretty cool. Getting to talk movies on here and people care what I have to say and comment back and I can respond back and forth to my conversations. That's really cool. But it's all about the people, really. Getting to meet wonderful people, interact back and forth with everybody, people messaging me. So many wonderful people saying so many kind things and having great conversations with them. Worst part, the people, the trolls, the people that just don't stop to think about what they're saying, the people that don't stop to think about, I don't know you, I don't know your sense of humor, I don't know the context of how you're saying things, the people that offer constructive criticism that I didn't ask for, all kinds of things like that just make it interesting. So they're the best and worst part is the people. Alrighty. Bailey King, what is your favorite type of music? Sorry about rubbing my nose. As I've said many times in this video, I've been talking a long time. And the longer I talk, my nose just gets itchier and itchier and turns redder and redder. Favorite type of music? I don't really have one. Rock in general, rock-based pop music. But, I listen to a ton of 80s, 90s, early zeros. Not as much stuff from the last 15 years or so, but from like 1980 until 2004, there's just all kinds of stuff in that window of time that I watch, or listen to. And tons of stuff from the 70s, a lot of the just classic rock bands. I love all that stuff. Weezer, Smashing Pumpkins. My Apple Music gives me playlists every week, and I always check out the ones that are 1998 rock, 1995 alternative hits, all that stuff. I'll check out those ones. Tons of enormous amounts of great music, Guns N' Roses or The Cars, and so many things in the 80s, Bon Jovi that are great from back then. And then in the early zeros, I like a lot of the post-grunge rock music as well. A lot of the emo, the Taking Back Sundays of the world, Get Up Kids, like 90s Green Day, a ton of different things. I was in a bunch of ska punk bands. And then from the last 10 years, more worship music is what I've known just because I was in church world and did lots of worship music. All right. Dark and Eater rebooted. Do you like or watch any other YouTubers not movie related? If so, who? Yeah, I love Philip DeFranco. He does kind of news as well as kind of YouTube gossipy type stuff and real quick moving and tries to be objective in the facts and then gives his opinion. Love him. Dude Perfect's great. Fail Blog or Fail Army, I guess, is the one that I go by now. Those are a bunch of the ones that kind of immediately come to mind that I watch every single week. Scarecrow123. Do you think YouTube is a sustainable career? Do you have plans afterwards? I don't have plans for afterwards. No, this is, as for right now, this is the end game, is to use this to build the Sean Chandler platform. Which is to say, I want to be a content creator for myself full-time is what I want to do. That's the dream for me. I've made it there. Now the goal is to make that sustainable and secure. And right now, the immediate future, that's just hardcore leaning into what's worked. But moving into next year, I would love to branch out into talking about teaching people and conference speaking about YouTube and social media. I'd love to do things like that. I'd love to write a book at some point in time. But it's all goes back to wanting to be an independent content creator. And I have so many different things I'd love to talk about and put my ideas out there and create things while not doing that for a company or, for freelance work. That stuff doesn't interest me. But taking my ideas and putting them out there under the Sean Chandler umbrella, that's the dream, and that's what I'm doing. So now it's about making the Sean Chandler Creates things sustainable. That's on YouTube right now, and I plan on doing that and keep on doing that. How long do I think I'll be reviewing movies? I don't have any plans to stop doing it. I'm not looking for another job, and I enjoy doing it. So that's kind of my answer to that one. Here's a fun one. Carter Doll. How did you and your wife meet? So the way this works, I'm a couple years older than her. We grew up attending the same church. But by the time she joined the youth group was several hundred people. So I didn't really know her, but we knew all the same people. And I'd be like friends with the son in the family, and she'd be friends with the daughter. And then there's some of her high school boyfriends were people that I've known back, going 10 years before she ever met them. And so we had all these intersecting connections, kind of knew who the other person was, but we didn't know each other. Jump forward to the year 2005. I'm about to go off to Bible college, and she has been attending the Bible college I was about to go off to. And we were at a mutual friend's 4th of July party. I was invited by the son in the family. She was invited by the daughter in the family. And we go there, and I just kind of corner her and go, "Hey, I hear you're out at this school out in Columbia, South Carolina. Can you tell me about churches in the area?" Which, when you're talking to someone that goes to Bible college, that's a pretty good pickup line. And it worked. And so we started talking. And the way the universe worked out, she needed a ride out to Columbia, South Carolina from Austin, Texas. And so she rode with me when I moved out there in the car. And it's like a 20-hour car ride. So we left, 4 a.m, whatever, drove out there. And my life theory is if you spend 20 hours in a car ride with someone, by the end of it, you're either going to hate each other or you're going to get married. Well, we got married. So that's a little bit of our story. And so we've been married for 12 years, met each other back in 2005. But we really, by the time we met each other, we had all these shared experiences, shared background. We'd interned under the same pastor at different points in time. And so it's weird, like we have the same background while not knowing each other at all. Like even this one, like her senior year in high school, there was a group of people that I hung out with just for various different reasons because I was friends with one of the people in it. And she had all these friends in that group that she just happened to not be hanging out with them at that point in time. So it's just like these weird points in time where we just missed each other until we met each other and then got married a year and a half later. So that's a little bit of our story. All right. Ausin Downer. How do people react when you tell them what you do? Normally they're kind of like, what? Until I tell them how many subscribers I have, and they're like, oh, wow, that's a ton of subscribers. And then if they're old enough, they go, so how do you make money doing that? Like, that's even my mom asks, like, I know you're making money. How do you make money doing that? Well, it's an ad revenue type thing. It's the same as radio. It's the same as TV. It's the same exact thing, same exact model. I'm like, oh, okay. Except you can have control of it. Oh, okay, that's cool. Or if it's an adult, they'll start talking about Oscar movies that I haven't seen. So often adults start talking about movies. It's like, I haven't seen any of these movies because my target audience is like 14 to 24-year-old males. And so it's very different from my actual peer group, what they're watching. And so that sort of thing happens. But other times people are like, oh, wow, that's so cool that you're able to do that and be passionate about something and make money doing it. It's a lot of different types of reactions. When I first started, people were like, oh, why are you doing that as a grown-up? And then eventually they came around when I started getting successful. Mr. Phi, what is your favorite book? Oh, I got to say the Bible because I'm a Christian. But favorite author is probably Malcolm Gladwell. I love his stuff. Just very interesting thinker with a perspective that makes you go, that's interesting. So he's got a new book coming out this year, so I'm pretty excited about that. But he's probably my current favorite author person. Last year I really loved... was it? I read a book. I don't know. I did a video. I linked to it somewhere up here. I think I did a video where talking about my favorite books of last year. Maybe that didn't happen. No, I don't think I did that. I meant to do that. I forgot to do it. But the Steve Jobs biography was great. I read a book on the battle between Nintendo and Sega Genesis in the early 90s. That one was great. The book one on the battle between DC and Marvel throughout the decades. That one was great. I'm just blanking on their title because I've been talking too long. Hayden, are you planning on a fourth child? That's not on the radar. We're not opposed to the idea. We're not planning for that to happen. But, sometimes you get more blessings than you're expecting. Maybe there'll be a fourth one. Maybe there won't be. I don't know. Gustavo Kuhan, how old are you? I am 37. 37 years old. Patty Johnston, how tall are you? I am 6'1", barefoot. So just a solid 6'1". Real 6'1", not exaggerated 6'1". Gwen needs help. Do you have any hobbies besides reviewing movies? Right now, not too many. I go to the pool with my kids. I go to the gym and lift weights with my friends. Right now, I don't have too many. Just I've been so busy with YouTube. YouTube's been my hobby that turned into my career is kind of what happened. So as of right now, not a whole lot, just hanging out with my kids. Tristan Shockery, where did you work before going full-time? Sherwin-Williams, the paint delivery place. I drove a truck from store to store and store to construction sites, store to new houses, things like that, store to apartment complexes. And then before that, I was a youth pastor, associate pastor, backup preacher, communications director at a church. Noah Lyles, hey, my dad is a pastor, so you might relate. Which Bible story would you want to be seen made a movie made out of? Maybe something like, maybe I go for like the Book of Acts. There's a bunch of movies that are stories that have already been adapted, but the Book of Acts is one that's very interesting because it's about the spread of the gospel, which led to Western civilization. Like all of Western civilization kind of goes back to the Catholic Church, Christianity, and things like that. And so the Book of Acts is all about how this message spread. So that could make for a very interesting one. Read comics. What do you desire to do most? Make a difference. Make an impact. Do something that matters. That's why I don't want just a job where I work for the company, man, and you don't know what impact it has. I want to do something where I feel like it impacts people, makes progress. That's why I'd love to write a book. I'd love to, speak at conferences and help other people be successful and do things that I've been able to do. I'd love to help people and make a difference. And so making an impact is what I want to do. Johnny Struve. All right. What do your kids and wife think about this whole world of YouTube you have turned yourself into and going full time? Are they excited? Is it just more of, hey, Sean, Dad, he's a movie thing, or something else? Sorry about that. My kids don't fully get it. They have fun with it. They love to kind of jump in on my videos sometimes, and so I've had hey, you can't be in all of my videos. So they have fun with it. I just think it's, Dad shoots videos. Dad talks about videos, and we go to the movies with them quite a bit. They don't fully understand all the ramifications, context of it. And my wife's always been supportive because she knows I love to create things. She knows that I love movies. She knows that just by my nature, this is the stuff that gets me excited. I get passionate about making and creating things. And she knows I have a work ethic to where I will pour the energy into it to be successful at it. So she's been very supportive about it. So she's kind of always been kind of pushed me on to do it. to even spend money on training. She's always said yes. So she's supportive. Nervous about me not having like a stable, steady job behind me, but the plan we had going into this was full-time was pretty good. Eden, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. If you could direct a movie, what kind of movie would you love to make? I would do like an action thriller or something like, a Taken type movie, a simple concept, cool fight choreography. That's what I would want to do. Or, if I did like a Star Wars movie, it would be like a solo standalone film that would be kind of like a Western space with Jedi, like things like that, off from everything else, not battling the Galactic Empire, but like in a small community with a rogue Jedi or something like that. Zach Attack says, hey, Sean, how old were you when you started becoming obsessed with movies? As far back as I can remember, I've always been into comic booky type stuff and movies. But in 1989 was a big year. Batman 89 came out. I saw Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I saw Star Trek V in the theater. That was a big one for me. The movie itself, not all that great, but that was a big event movie for me in terms of certain things. That started kind of a passion that led to being into movies my whole life. Star Trek VI coming out was the first time I remember being excited about a movie that was coming out in the near future and looking forward to it. We went to a lot of Star Trek conventions in the early 90s. So things like that were pretty formative for me. All right. Gabe says, are you going to work on doing podcasts now that you are full-time? Congratulations, by the way. Yeah, so I want to start a podcast. I have some ideas to do some things like that, but it's not a priority. It's not something that I'm going to like jump into because as of right now, I just need to lean into being successful at what I know works on my channel. And that's rankings, that's reviews, that's editorials. The stuff that my channel is known for, that's what I want to learn to do best, put a lot of it out there and learn to monetize it better. Right now, as I'm trying to make this YouTube thing stable and just knock it out of the park and just go full guns blazing into this deal to make it successful going full time at it. That's what my goal is right now. Once that's like, oh, this is working, then absolutely, I want to put a podcast out there. And I might do like an early version of it. I might kind of start doing like a weekly live show. They'll do a live stream on YouTube that's intended to become a podcast to like start putting little seeds out there and growing a little bit of momentum. But I might not want to do that because I might at the same time, when I start doing that, I want to like do it with a bang and make it a big deal when I launch it. But I'm not sure because I haven't gone full time yet. I just know that my priority, and I've been seeking wisdom from people, listening to a whole lot of, I even was like was on a live stream with a YouTube expert person and he answered my question. And my question was, what should my priority be in the first month? And it was like he was reading my mind. He was like, your feelings in your first month, it's going to be like, oh, I have all this free time, so I'm going to do a podcast. I was like, that was exactly what I was thinking. And you're going to be like, hey, maybe I'll have a couple extra channels. Like, I do have a couple extra channels. And you're like, I want to try out this and blogging. And I was like, everything you're saying is exactly what I was thinking I was going to do in my first month. He goes, don't do that. He goes, you want to build a bridge, one bridge, whatever you're good at, whatever you're aiming for, do that one thing and do it with excellence, knock it out of the park, and then build a second layer underneath it. So you're just rock solid at something. You're the best at it. And once that's stable, then add one of those things. And then add in the podcast and make that a rock solid bridge. And then add the next one. Focus in on one thing and do it well. Monetize it well. Make it the best it can be. And then add something when you can do it right. But if you spread yourself thin, you'll do like 5 things poorly. And you don't want to do that. And that's what I was thinking. It was like, if I try and like start slowly putting out this other podcast about a podcast and slowly put videos on this channel, 3 videos on this channel, 3 videos on Real Creators, that's not a good idea. So I don't want to have to do a bunch of things. I want to do my channel with excellence. Once again, sorry. Like even my nose, you can see it's just turning red. Driving me nuts. All right. Final 2 questions on here, actually. Ant React says, what made you start on YouTube? Just this, I always love to create things, as I've said many times in this. I'm just a person like that. Even back in the 90s, before YouTube, I had a Jackie Chan webpage, actually, and then I had some movie reviews on there 20 years ago. Literally over 20 years ago, I did that. And then I've always been the person in other people's comment sections. I was in the IMDb bulletin board comment section type thing on there. I was collider.com commenting on there. And so I just wanted to do this going back to like 2013. If you watch my channel, you can see some early prototype reviews from like 2013. and I didn't have enough time to commit to it to make it happen. And so 2016, I was unemployed, so then I had time to pour into it. And so that's where this channel kind of came from. But it's what I've always loved: movies. I've always loved to talk about movies. I love to create things and put my ideas out there. I thought I would be good at this. I thought I could get good at it. And that's kind of where it came from. And the last one on here, Jack Kellen says, will you create a website? Actually, I have a website, SeanChandlerLive.com. It's for my speaking business that hasn't really gone anywhere. I'm probably going to convert that for this channel now that this is my full-time thing. I'm going to probably convert it and try to get some speaking gigs and YouTube conferences and things like that, and maybe some Comic Cons and things like that. So I have a webpage. You can see it down below. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the other two videos, this one on movies, this one down here on YouTube type stuff. Whew. This is an hour and 30 minutes straight of answering questions and making my nose itch. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.